Hello, everybody, and welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me. My name is Evelyn Knight. I am the Child Care Business Coach and the CEO and founder of Child Care Business Professionals. So lately, we've been talking a lot about limiting beliefs. Last week, we talked about somewhat of the opposite of what we're going to be talking about today, but it's kind of the same problem, just on different spectrums. Today, we're going to talk about not feeling worthy of the dreams and the goals you have, and even sometimes the things you've already accomplished, or having imposter syndrome, which is something that over the years I've really struggled with as well. Last week, we really focused on just it never being enough, no matter how much you accomplish. And I told you about how with my imposter syndrome, it was a real big problem for me that no matter what I did, it never felt big enough, good enough. And I always had to set the bar higher and higher and higher. And it got to the point where I couldn't even celebrate my wins because I was always just thinking, yeah, but I'm still not enough. I'm still not enough. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, some people may never go after their goals or their dreams because they have this overarching feeling that they're not even good enough to start. So they never really get that motivation. And sometimes you might fool yourself into thinking it's a lack of motivation. What is wrong with me? Why am I lazy? Why won't I start? I just never get going. I have these great ideas and these goals, but I never start. I never get off the starting line. So we start telling ourselves these things and we start beating ourselves up, and that negative self-talk just really drives us crazy. The other thing that some people really struggle with is that they have these desires. They feel like the desires are greedy, that they're selfish. And often our society judges us for our desires. That is something that I've really struggled with. And sometimes that guilt starts to enter my mind because I know it's something that a lot of people really just look down on. It's kind of ironic when you think about it. If you asked anybody, if you had the opportunity to just really be successful, have the career of your dreams and the income, would you take it? Everybody says, yes, of course I would take it. I would be crazy not to. But then they judge the people who've gone out in the world and they've gotten it. The people who've actually accomplished it and who've tried. And that is the end of the spectrum that I'm on. So some of you might be scared to even get your start because you feel like your desires are bad for some reason or you're unworthy of them. I want to tell you to stop with the negative talk. You are worthy. You are good enough. So last week we talked about that opposite, right? Where there was many of you who I know I work with on a constant basis that were just these high achievers. And we always feel like, I got to get to the next level and the next, and then the next, and then the next, right? And we are actually coming from the same place where we don't feel like we're enough no matter how much we accomplish. So we have to keep doing more and more and more. And that is something I've recently broken free of, knowing that take it all away, me by myself, without any of my degrees or any of my success, I'm good enough. Now, on the other end, it's the same problem. It's the same thing. It's that feeling that you're not worthy. But some of you feel like you're not even worthy enough to get the start, that this is going to be so hard and I just can't. I'm not smart enough. I'm not, right? And those terms just go through your head over and over of I am not something or other. I am not worthy. I am not smart enough. I am not good enough. You tell yourself stories like, I can't get a start. I can't get myself. So the first thing I would say is get those thoughts of I can't, those labels, get them out of your mind. And I'm actually bringing up some rules that I like to follow myself. I actually keep a stack of Post-it notes, but there's one in particular that I use, and I used it earlier today, that really helps me out a lot when I'm analyzing different things. And it's 4 questions that were actually developed by Byron Katie. I would just transpose them. Byron Katie is a wonderful philosopher and she was really just an innovator when it came to how people think. And she came up with 4 questions that can really help you to free yourself from negative thinking patterns or things that you believe about yourself or things that people say about you. And the 4 questions are to ask yourself, is it true? So the beliefs that you have about yourself, if you believe that for some reason you drop the ball on everything, stop and ask yourself, is it really true? How can I believe, or can I be absolutely sure this is true? So question number 2 is, can I be absolutely sure this is true? Question number 3 is, how do I react? What happens when I believe this thought about myself? So when you have these thoughts about yourself, or even if someone says something about you, how do you react? What does it cause? And who would I be without this thought? Okay, so question number 4, who would I be without this thought? Those questions are just pivotal for me, and they help me out so much, especially when people come at me. Doing what I do, having a podcast, having these videos that I create, and even just being a successful business owner, period, and being contracted to do different things through different states and whatnot, and being asked to speak all over the country, I get a lot of hate. I get a lot of criticism. And a lot of times it's really hard on me. And I really just internalize sometimes. But when I ask myself those questions, especially the one that I ask myself, really looking for the evidence, right? Can I be absolutely true? I also start looking at evidence to contradict what they're saying. If it really hurts, and I think to myself, well, maybe it is true, because that my brain will go there and I will sometimes look for evidence to make it true. Then I also start looking for evidence to make it not true in my life. I will start looking at the things I've done. And I was called greedy recently. And it just is like, oh my gosh, am I greedy? I really like nice things and I drive a nice car. Maybe I am greedy. But then I looked at my life and all the people that I give to and all the people I do things for. And I was actually sharing that with one of my employees, and her jaw just dropped. Like, somebody called you greedy? Wow, that person couldn't have possibly known you. But it was just such a reassurance, and it was such a relief that that's how I was seen. And when I started looking at the evidence in my life, I did realize, yeah, that's not true. And what happens when you do that is you take the power away from those negative beliefs that you might have about yourself and the things that people say about you. It also helps you to see that there's nothing wrong with your desires. There's nothing wrong with it. We all have the same desires, but for some reason, society shames success. We all want it. We all admire it. But then for some reason, we all shame it, right? So don't be one of those people who shame successful people. Instead, become one. We all have a choice. We all can be at the same level of success, but it's those of us who choose to go out every day and do the work who get there. And remember, success is different for everybody. Success does not have anything to do with your paycheck, your house, your title, your job. It's really what you need it to be for you. That's it. Success to me is just constant growth. I want to never stop growing. I want to always be up leveling as a human and always become a better version of me. That is what success means to me. It doesn't have anything to do with my bank account, my titles. It has to do with who I am as a human being. Success to me, really at the core, is, am I doing the job that God put me on this planet to do? And am I doing well? When I am done with this life, am I going to stand before Jesus and is he going to tell me, well done, my good and faithful servant? That is success to me. So kind of think about, what does success mean to you? Some people are completely satisfied with a normal everyday life, a 9-to-5 job, as long as they do a job well done. And that is okay. Other people dream of something bigger. Other people want to be a business owner, and that is okay too. There is no shame in you wanting a life for yourself. Once upon a time, I was really ashamed of my ambition. I am a very, very ambitious person. And when I was a young mom, I was so ashamed of being ambitious because I thought that meant that I wasn't a good enough mother. I thought that meant I didn't love my children enough because I wanted something more for me than just to be a mom. I thought that meant I wasn't a good enough wife because I just wasn't satisfied at home being a wife and mom. And I would beat myself up over it. And I can tell you today, I sit here a widow. My children are now grown. My youngest turns 19 in 2 weeks, and he's fiercely independent. I am so thankful to the younger version of me who wasn't satisfied just being a stay-at-home mom. Because if I had been, I would be completely alone right now with nothing. I would have nothing for me. I don't want to hold my children back by my life revolving so deeply into them that they're afraid to walk away from me because I have nothing else but them. I had no idea 20 years ago when I made the decision to be a career woman that my husband was going to die and I would be a widow. I had no idea I would have to stand on my own 2 feet by myself. But I am so thankful that when the time came, I was prepared. I'm so thankful I didn't let that shame make my decisions for me and that I set out to be a business owner. So I challenge you, do you have bigger dreams for your life that you're allowing other people's opinions, your own lack of self-worth, the lies you're telling yourself, the labels that you've allowed to be put on you? Are those things holding you back from your dreams? You are worthy. You are absolutely worthy to be something more or something else. Now, if you're perfectly satisfied being a stay-at-home mom or doing what you're doing today, that is beautiful and wonderful too. That is just amazing. The point is to choose your life. Don't let it just happen to you. Choose it. Take the just reins of your life and just run with it. That is okay too. Something I want to really just talk about too is just being satisfied with what you have, where you are, and really just being satisfied with who you are. Because inside of you, you're already enough. If you are a home provider and you dream of owning your own childcare center, but you're so scared, how am I going to manage staff? How am I going to, all of the things that go through your head, right? How am I going to deal with that many parents? And then I have to manage my staff and run curriculum and make all these big decisions. I'm not that kind of a person. I can't do it. But you know in your heart that is your calling and your deepest desire. You can. Absolutely. You already have it in you. The only thing you lack is the knowledge. That's it. If you own a childcare center and you're really struggling and you think to yourself, what did I do to myself? Oh my gosh, I wasn't good enough. I shouldn't have done this. It's the same thing. You can. You are good enough. You're smart enough. You're everything you need to be. You just don't know how yet. That's all. I was once that owner. I've never been afraid to try something new. I am the person who's like, oh, I'll do it. Let's go. But then I find myself in the situation where I'm in it and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? I started, but now I don't know what I'm doing. Right. And I really beat myself up for years. I really, really beat myself up and thought, what have I done? I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not like those other people. I am not enough. I used to tell myself that all the time. And because I told myself that, I was failing. I was failing. And I almost lost my childcare center years ago because I kept telling myself those stories. But then one day, I decided to educate myself and I got help. And I learned how to be a great business owner. I learned how to empower me. And then I went into another phase where, yes, I did a great job, but I was giving so much of me, so much of everything I was, everything to help everybody else, that I wasn't taking care of me at all. And I had lost sight of me. I lost me. And through that journey, I've realized that not only am I enough, but I'm also worthy. I'm worthy of a good income. I'm worthy of being a great business owner. I'm worthy of owning multiple businesses. I am worthy of what I never thought I was worthy of. I know so many of you struggle with the same thing, whether it's that lack of worthiness that drives you to do more and more and more, or the guilt of wanting more. Some of us have such guilt over our desires. There is nothing wrong with what you want. There's a lot of jealous people out there. There is. And they project that jealousy because they don't have it onto people who do. But don't own that. It doesn't have to be you. And you can have those desires. You can make it happen. You can open a childcare center if that is your dream, or open a second or third one. There's nothing wrong with it. If that is something you would like help with at Childcare Business Professionals, we are so excited to be able to help you. It is just my heart. It is just my heart. I actually, Friday, I did a interview with for one of my friends' shows, and I'm sure she's going to be watching this. And it was really cool. I got to really spread my heart and my desire. And it just was such a great feeling telling basically her audience why I was put here. And it really was a great reminder on my calling and my passion and my heart. And it was a great reminder for me to see that there is no greed in me. I'm doing this for such an amazing reason. I have such a deep understanding that our society needs to put the love of children first. And we've created this just perfect storm that makes it incredibly hard on families. And so many children spend more time at a childcare center than they do at home anymore. And when they are home, the children are rushing and rushing and rushing. And they don't have time to just be children, to just get nurtured, to learn what they need to learn to be successful adults. And in this world of early childhood education, the preschools that we run, the childcare centers, we have the power to give that to the children. So now I'm on a mission. I will touch 1 million children's lives by helping other owners and directors there learn how to be successful. But I'm also doing something new that we launched last year that we're really launching in full force this year. I'm going to empower more people who have the heart for children, who also want to put children first and want to affect more children's lives. We're going to help them open childcare centers. We're going to help more successful owners be born into this world. Whether you want to buy a childcare center, take your home center and turn it into something bigger and better, we are going to be there to help you. So if that's something you would love help with, let my team know. We are going to actually be hosting a seminar at the end of this month that is going to just help those of you who dream of opening your own center. I cannot wait to get started with just helping this new generation of owners that are just really going to take over ECE. I am determined to lead the ECE revolution so that we really, really, truly start putting what the children needs first and foremost, especially in the United States and around the world. We're really going to put their needs first and be there to partner with parents to give the children the best possible future. And we need more people out there who have the love and the passion for children to take the reins and open childcare centers that are good and that are the best thing that we can possibly give the children. If you follow me, you know that to me, daycare is a dirty word, and I don't let anybody call my childcare center a daycare. And it's just more a morale thing I do, where it's like we worked so hard to create a wonderful preschool system that really educates the children in where they need to be educated, not where society tells you, but where the brain development really truly is, where what they need. And I want to help more people develop the same. I really, truly, with all my heart, just want to help people, more people develop what we've developed. I want to help people see what the children really need and to put them first. It is time for us to be done with a system that expects children to fit into these boxes that adults have created, instead of creating the box that the children fit into. And I am determined to not only help those of you who are out there fighting this good fight, to be more successful, to feel like somebody comes alongside you and is there with you. So even if you are successful, but you feel alone, we want to come alongside you as well. We don't want you to feel alone. And if this is your dream and your heart right now is saying, that's what I need, that's what I want, this is what I've been looking for, then let my team know. Mandy is in the chat, Lisa's in the chat. Let them know. We would love to help you. I hope everybody has a wonderful week. I really hope my passion is contagious. I am going to change the world through early childhood education. And I really, really hope that you want to come on board and join me on this beautiful journey.